Battleship Wisconsin. Wisconsin is the last and the largest of the 4 Iowa-class battleships built during World War II. Battleship Wisconsin, built between 1943 and 1944 at the Philadelphia Navy Shipyard. The ship was commissioned on the 16th of April, 1944, and served her first service fighting the Japanese in the Pacific during World War II. Battleship Wisconsin is quite large, 888 feet in length, 109 feet wide, and she weighs in at more than 60,000 tons when fully loaded. Primary weapons aboard the ship are 9 16-inch guns she carries. There are 3 guns per turret, 2 turrets forward of the ship's superstructure and 1 turret aft. Each of the 16-inch guns can fire a 2,700-pound projectile, a distance of more than 20 nautical miles, with pinpoint accuracy. 16-inch guns are the largest ballistic guns ever deployed in the Korean War and Operation Desert Storm. Throughout the long career of the Wisconsin, she was equipped with newer, more advanced weaponry, including 4 phalanx close-in weapon systems, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and Tomahawk cruise missiles. Now we'll be taking the same route which ships take to open sea, about 25 miles to sea by water. Command center of NOAA. NOAA stands for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA is responsible for producing navigation charts. They also monitor the nation's fisheries and serve as the National Weather Service. Shore to our starboard side. In short, just beyond the NOAA facility, you'll see a small bridge. That is the Brambleton Avenue Bridge. That bridge spans Smith Creek. Inshore of the bridge, a very nice section of the city of Norfolk known as Ghent. Ghent is home to one of the nation's finest collections of Victorian homes, many of which were built around the turn of the main warehouse. About 40 years ago, during Norfolk's quick downtown redevelopment, the unused warehouse was converted into the condos you see there at this time. That is a popular trend to do in many seaports. The Cape Race, Cape Rise, and the Cape Ray. These 3 vessels are part of the nation's ready reserve fleet. They're used to transport military vehicles and equipment during a time of war or national emergency. Those vessels are known as row-row ships. Row-row standing for roll on, roll off. There are large ramps at the stern of each of those vessels. Those ramps can be folded down 2 over here, allowing vehicles and equipment to be quickly and easily rolled on and off the ship. These ships can be loaded, ready for sea in less than 10 days, if necessary. '95 to our port side is the USS James E. Williams, Arleigh Class destroyer. You'll see quite a few of those at the base. Go into much more detail about them at the base. Looking to our starboard side along the Norfolk, just inshore of the Waterfield building, you'll see a white wall with a couple of cannons out in front of it. It's a white building. Flag on the end. Actually, they took the flag down. But this pier to our starboard side is Marine Hydraulics International, or MHI. They repair primarily naval vessels. South side of their pier is the U.S. naval ship First Lieutenant Baldomero Lopez, a pre-positioning ship. Normally, these types of vessels are strategically located around the world so that they can respond to an area of need as quickly as possible. And normally vessels like that will be loaded with all types of equipment and supplies needed by troops. On the north side of the pier, ship number 19 is the USS Mesa Verde. Mesa Verde is a San Antonio class amphibious assault ship. You'll see more of those at Naval Station Norfolk. Naval ship Apalachicola. You can see her sister ship Brunswick. Facing us. These 2 vessels are Spearhead class fast transport ships designed and built to carry personnel and equipment at high speed. These vessels are 340 feet in length, about 100 feet wide. They're all-aluminum construction, quite lightweight, and very fast with speeds in excess of 40 knots. Those vessels are currently docked at the first 2 piers that make up the former Lambert's Point General Cargo Terminal, now known as Fairwind Landing. General cargo, by the way, refers to any type of cargo not stored in shipping containers. These piers were leased to a company called Fairwind Landing a few years ago. Fairwind is primarily concerned with build and maintain and supply the offshore wind farm and support vessels. On the north side of the pier, the blue and white ship you can see out to our starboard side is one of the wind farm vessels. Construction out there. That vessel is used to install very large electric windmills and substations offshore. They do use some of the pier space to store vessels, like the Apalachicola and Brunswick. Other vessels being stored here. U.S. naval ships Soderman, the barge, medium speed, roll-on, roll-off ship. That vessel is 950 feet in length, 115 feet wide. She'll be used to transport all types of military vehicles, equipment, cargo, supplies, any branch of military the country did. And that ship, along with the Brunswick and the Apalachicola, are all operated by the Military Sealift Command, or MSC. MSC ships are location where the Navy stores much of its petroleum products for ships and aircraft of the Atlantic fleet. Fuel stored there brought by way of a very long pipeline that originated just outside Houston, Texas. The Navy oilers, like the U.S. naval ship Laramie that you'll see there currently, can pull into the pier, load up with all types of fuel, then use to refuel ships at sea. Laramie is a Henry J. Kaiser class fleet oiler. She's 667 feet in length, 97 feet wide. That ship will transport 7.5 million gallons of fuel. To our starboard side, you'll see Lambert's Point, home to the Lambert's Point coal terminal, one of the world's fastest and most efficient coal loading facilities. You'll see some remnants of older piers and out to our port side, you'll see that long stretch of the American land. battleships and submarines, as well as a wide variety of aircraft that operate here as well. First ship that we'll see at the base is the U.S. Naval Hospital ship Comfort. Medical reservists from around the country. The ship itself was built as an oil tanker originally, late 70s. In the early 80s, she was converted from an oil tanker to a hospital ship. She's just over 900 feet length, about 110 feet wide. Carries a ship's crew of 90. She is operated by the military seated command as well. Ship number 196 is USS Naval Ship Kanawha, the J. Kaiser class fleet oiler. I'll go into more details about that class of warship shortly. On the south side of Pier 2, ship number 44 is the USS Gunston Hall. Gunston Hall is a Whidbey Island class amphibious assault ship. Her sister ship, USS Tortuga, on the north side of Pier 2. These ships are the smallest class of amphibious assault ship used by the Navy. The Island class ships are 610 feet length, 84 feet wide. They each carry a crew of 340 in each of these vessels to transport 400 Marines as well. And out of the ship ballast on the north side of the pier is the USS Philippine Sea, ship number 58. She's a Ticonderoga class guided missile cruiser. A better view of the submarine pier. There's one itself on the south side of the pier this afternoon. That ship is a Los Angeles class fast attack submarine. Primary mission of the attack sub is to seek out and destroy enemy subs. That mission carried out using the Mark 48 torpedo. Mark 48 is a heavyweight torpedo used only on the submarine. It is the sub's primary weapon with strike range in excess of 20 nautical miles. That submarine will also carry Tomahawk cruise missiles used for long-range land attack. Tomahawk fired from either a surface or submerged. Speeds in excess of 25 knots. On the south side of Pier 3, coming into view to our starboard side, you'll see another submarine. Virginia class fast attack sub inshore. Virginia class subs are a newer and larger class of attack submarine than the LA class sub. Virginia class subs, 373 feet in length, also 33 feet wide, also carrying 130. That submarine will be equipped with Mark 48 torpedoes, which will also carry Tomahawk cruise missiles and Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and that submarine is nuclear powered as well. Not returning to port. She's actually just been moved over from Little Creek, Virginia, which is about 10 miles from here. Just relocating the ship from another base in the area. On the north side of Pier number 4, USS Gettysburg is now in view. Gettysburg is a Ticonderoga class guided missile cruiser. Ticonderoga class ships are the first class of naval vessel to carry the very sophisticated system known as Aegis. The Aegis system consists of high-tech sonar, radar, communications, and computerized weaponry. Aegis-equipped ships are able to track and prioritize well over 2,000 targets simultaneously. Those targets could be surface targets, submarine targets, air targets, even targets for other vessels as well. The computers associated with Aegis will determine whether the ship is tracking high. On board the ship includes two 5-inch deck guns, 3-mile radius of the ship. That vessel will also carry torpedoes for anti-submarine warfare. That is a COD, which stands for Carrier On-Board Delivery. That vessel, or excuse me, that aircraft is the smallest cargo plane in the United States Armed Forces. And the land and take off with aircraft carriers. Back to the USS Normandy, that ship carries torpedoes for anti-submarine warfare. There are 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Inshore was ship number 67, which is the USS Cole. USS Cole is the ship which was attacked by terrorists on the 12th of October, the year 2000, while the ship was being refueled in the country of Yemen. During that attack, 17 U.S. sailors aboard the ship lost their lives. And following the attack on the Cole, she was loaded aboard a heavy lift ship and brought back to the United States for repair. Repairs on the ship lasted 18 months, costing more than $250 million. Cole was returned to full active duty service midway through the summer of 2003. Closer to the channel on the south side of pier number 5 is the USS Nitze. Nitze, another Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. On the north side of pier number 5, ship number 24 in view. Number 24 is the USS Washington, D.C. On the south side of pier number 6 are 2 more Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Number 66, the USS Gonzales, and inshore of her, the USS Stout. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers are the second of only 2 classes of naval vessel to carry the sophisticated Aegis weapons system. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers carry 1 5-inch deck gun mounted aboard the ship's bow. These ships are also equipped with 2 phalanx close-in weapon systems. They carry torpedoes for anti-submarine warfare, and these vessels will carry 90 missiles in their vertical launch system array. Missiles carried on board include the Navy standard surface-to-air missile, used primarily against enemy aircraft, and used against satellites and ballistic missiles. Anti-ship missiles, which are low-flying sea-skimming missiles designed to fly beneath an enemy ship's radar. Here, number 6, number 74 is the USS McFall, and inshore of her is the USS Ross. On the south side of pier number 7, USS Gettysburg in view. Gettysburg, another of the Ticonderoga-class cruisers. On the south side of pier 7, closer to us, is the U.S. naval ship Tucson, Henry J. Kaiser-class fleet oiler, 667 feet in length, 97 feet wide. That ship will transport 7.5 billion gallons of fuel. To put that amount of fuel in perspective for you, that ship is through a process known as underway replenishment, or UNREPS, or short. Basically, what happens out in the ocean is a ship in need of fuel will pull alongside the oiler, or with passive or cables and fuel hoses, and refuel the ship while moving through the water at speeds of up to 15 miles. During the entire underway replenishment operation, two of those vessels remain quite close to one another, sometimes a distance as little as 150 feet. Underway replenishment can last anywhere from a few hours for a small ship to more than 18 hours for a larger vessel like an aircraft carrier. On the north side of pier number 7, ship number 7 in view. Number 7 is the USS Robert Simonnak. Simonnak is a mobile expeditionary base. She's designed and built to carry military cargo barges, primarily for U.S. military special operations groups like the Navy SEALs and Army Green Berets. That ship carries 2 distinct decks. The lower deck is her barge deck. She is built with ballast tanks, allowing the ship to be ballasted up and down quickly and easily. That allows barges to be floated on and off the ship quickly and easily. Her upper deck is the ship's flight deck. The ship will carry several helicopters. These helicopters equipped and personnel. That ship is 788 feet in length, 165 feet. To our starboard side at this time, on the south side of pier 8, you'll see the Navy's newest ship. That is the U.S. naval ship Robert F. Kennedy. Kennedy is a new John Lewis class fleet oiler. It's just over 600 feet in length That vessel will transport 6 billion gallons of fuel to use for keeping ships at sea. She is operated by the NSC, once again indicating light gray with a yellow band on the ship's smokestack. Don't see any ships here north line this afternoon. Ship on the port side, Pier 10 in view is the U.S. Naval ship John Winterball. See that Leroy Club, you're going to see there on the 3-day Angeles Class SSN. You'll see some aircraft in the stern right there of the San Antonio. These are some of the Marines' Osprey aircraft. Osprey was receiving ships with aircraft on board. See another, these assault ships on the San Antonio class, south side of Pier 12. That ship is number 21. Number 21 is the USS New York. Her name was New York City. She is named in honor of the victims who lost their lives in the city on September 11th. So there's about 8.5 tons of steel taken from the limits of the World Trade Centers to build a portion of the bow of the USS New York. Well, and on the north side of Pier 12, ship number 3 is the USS Kearsarge. The Kearsarge is a NOASS class amphibious assault ship, known as a landing helicopter dock, or LHD for short. That vessel is 844 feet in length, 140 feet wide in the flight deck. That ship will carry a crew of 1,292, which will transport more than 1,800 Marines as well. That ship will be equipped with 40 helicopters, attack and transport helicopters. Also carry see the well-decked open Kearsarge as we pass by. That ship will also carry some of the Marines' new Osprey aircraft, like the ones we saw on the San Antonio a moment ago. She'll also be equipped with 6 Harrier jump jets. Harriers are fixed-wing jet-powered aircraft that take off and land vertically. Harriers provide tactical air support during amphibious assault. They are flown by pilots in the United States Marine Corps. It's actually a Harrier flight deck of the Kearsarge currently. As we get a little bit further away from the ship, you'll see that aircraft a little bit better. In addition to all of that, that ship also carries a 600-bed hospital on board. It's complete with intensive care units and operating rooms as well. Makes a ship like that very valuable during an amphibious assault. Also makes a ship like that very good for humanitarian efforts. The U.S. has sent ships like this one around the world in recent years, providing humanitarian aid in places like Haiti and Japan. After earthquakes, islands in the South Pacific Just outside of Pier 14, ship number 28, that's USS Fort Lauderdale, another San Antonio class assault ship. And on the north side of Pier 14, last ship we'll see here at Naval Station Norfolk, and that is number 75, USS Harry S. Truman. The Truman is a Nimitz class super aircraft carrier. U.S. Navy classifies any carrier in the world of over 1,000 feet in length a super carrier. Truman is 1,000 feet in length, 250 tons. That ship will carry 75 aircraft when underway. She can carry more than 100 if necessary. The Navy puts carriers to sea with 75 aircraft, all of them. Those aircraft will take rain or shine. Much activity on the flight deck of any carrier makes being a crew member on the flight crew one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. An aircraft taking off or being launched from the carrier may launch the full flight deck of the ship. The original building of the hospital is still in use nowadays, no longer used for any type of medical procedures, but used as office space. The original operating room for the hospital is located just beneath the green dome that you'll see there. The very top of the dome itself is glass which allows sunlight into the operating room, so surgery could be performed. The city of Portsmouth back in 1752, during the colonial era, Crawford Cove was an anchoring ground for ships calling here in the port of Virginia. Nowadays, most of the vessels that choose to anchor at Crawford Cove are traveling along the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. The inner harbor here marks mile 0 of the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. It is a system of rivers, lakes, bays, sounds, and canals, which are all interconnected together to stretch from here all the way to Miami, Florida, which is nearly 1,100 miles to our south. Vessels less than 65 feet in height, 8 feet in draft, can travel in the intercoastal all the way to Miami without having to enter the Atlantic Ocean. Sea Topwater Yacht Marina to our starboard side, full service bow, is the southern branch of the Elizabeth River. The southern branch is the entrance to the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. Mentioned that a couple of minutes ago. I was able to head down the southern branch all the way. Southern branch also hosts quite a lot of import and export facilities as well as several shipyards located in the southern branch. To our starboard side, down the southern branch, a ways about half a mile or so on the right bank of the river, you'll see that green crane on shore. That crane, it's called the Hammerhead Crane. It is located at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. The Norfolk Naval Shipyard is the nation's oldest shipyard, originally opened by a British company in the mid-1760s. The yard was originally known as the Gosport Navy Yard. It's been operated by the British, the United States, the Confederate States of America, and now the United States Navy. They no longer build ships there, only ship repair performed there nowadays. The yard is quite historic, not only the first shipyard in the nation, it was also at that yard. The Confederate States of America outfitted the ship Merrimack and the ironclad vessel CSS Virginia. It's also at this shipyard where the Navy's first cruiser, first battleship, and first aircraft carrier were all built. And that yard is located in Portsmouth, Virginia. The name of the yard was changed from the Gosport Yard to the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. The shipyard was then located in Norfolk County. And the green crane that you see down there is the Hammerhead Crane, which was used to install gun turrets onto the decks of battleships that were built at this yard between the First and Second World Wars. On the port of land, over to our starboard side, is BAE Systems Shipyard. They repair primarily naval vessels. The large gray flat top you see there is the USS Wasp, LHD number 1. She's the lead ship of the Wasp class, and sister ship to the Kearsarge that we saw at Naval Station Norfolk. The blue and white ship Cape Arundel is a former commercial automobile carrier. She was acquired by the U.S. government. She's been converted to carry military vehicles and equipment. Is now part of the nation's reserve fleet. She is currently high and dry out of the water, located within the floating dry dock Titan. Floating dry dock Titan is one of the world's Ship number 78 to our starboard bow is the USS Porter. Porter is another of the Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyers. The USS Porter is currently high and dry out of the water, located within the floating dry dock Speedy. The way the floating dry docks work, the walls and bottom of the dry dock are hollow and they can be filled with water, which will cause the dry dock to sink down into the river. When the dry dock is submerged, the ship is then carefully maneuvered over top of it. When that vessel is in the proper position above the submerged dry dock, lined up above keel blocks laid along the floor of the dry dock. At that point, the walls and bottom of the dry dock are pumped free of water, which will lift the ship out so that bottom-side repairs can be performed. Once again, that ship is 506 feet in length and 67 feet wide. River Ferry. Ferries offer passenger service between Norfolk and Portsmouth every half an hour. Riding across the river on board the ferry, passengers